Today we're going to build this portfolio and it has only 3 sections only. So let me show you what this look like. So as you can see, when I refresh this one, this is the hero section. We have some nice animation. And if we click on this button right here, it will link to the email. And if we scroll down to the skill section and we hover on this one, there's some nice animation at the background. And another section is project. When we hover on this one, we can see the title and the tech stack that is being used for this each of the project here. So for this project, I'm using Next.js, Tailwind, and also the Aceternity UI component. All right, so let's start coding. All right, so now we're going to start by create our next project. So I'm going to copy this command right here, go into terminal, and I'm going to paste this one. So right here, this folder is portfolio demo. So I'm going to create the next project inside this folder. So I'm going to do this, press enter. So right here, they're going to ask us, I'm going to use TypeScript, ESLint yes, this one yes, source no, and this one yes, and this one no. So right now it will install all dependency for us. All right, so the next step that we're going to do is to install Aceternity inside our project. So for that, let's go to Aceternity documentation and let's go to installation, choose Next.js. And the first step here we complete already. So I'm going to copy this command right here, go to our terminal, and I'm going to paste and click enter. So right here, it's going to ask us a question. So for this one, I'm going to choose a default and the color is 6. And this one is yes. And right now it will install everything for us as well. So next, I'm going to install the Next theme. So then we can enable dark mode. So for that, let's go into the dark mode, choose Next.js and install this one. And then let's go back and press this one. Great. So everything is complete. So right now, let's open this one inside the Visual Studio Code. Great. So right now to enable the dark mode, so we can go back inside the documentation. And so we need to create a theme provider right here. So first I'm going to copy this content. And then inside the component, I'm going to create a file called theme provider.tsx. And basically I'm just going to copy and paste here. And to use this one, we can go back here. So this is how to use it. So basically we're going to use this one inside the layout.tsx. And so I'm going to copy and paste everything here. And then let's go back inside this one, open the layout, and then let's replace the children right here with this content. And then make sure we import this one. To import this one, you can do control dot, so that will auto import for you. So you can see which we're going to use the component that we just created earlier, and let's hit save. And for the default theme, I'm going to choose as a dark. And also we need to do suppression hydration warning as well. Great. And since we in the layout, what I like to do is to change the font. I'm not going to use the enter font. So I'm going to use the space grotesque right here. And then let's make sure we replace this one and replace this one as well. So I'm going to make this one as a camel case. And then we're going to update the value right here as well. Nice. Great. So right now everything is good. So right now let's try to run our project in the localhost 3000. I'm going to do npm run dev. So right now it's up and running. So let's go back here and open localhost 3000. So you can see we set up the font and everything's look great. All right, so right now let's go back into our code and let's go to page.tsx. So I'm going to remove everything here. So I'm going to run a snippet OFC. And for this one, let's make the layout. So I'm going to create this one to the min height of this one to screen and the BG of this one to black as well. And so we're going to have another inside this one right here. So let's give a width of this one to max width to 7XL. And then we're going to do mx to auto. So the mx auto right here will make the container to go into the center. And right here, we're going to build our navigation component. I think for this one, we can create a component for this instead of writing the navbar inside here. So I think for this, I'm going to create the component for this home page. So for that, I'm going to create a folder and I'm going to do home. So for this one, it's allow us to make a folder of the default page without being, so because if you create the page inside the Next.js, so if you create a folder, so it will become as a page and slash like that. So if you don't want to have like the slash of that, you need to do something like this. So that's why I'm going to move this one and move the page inside here. And so let's just close this one. And inside the home folder right here, I'm going to create another folder called component. And then I'm going to create a navbar component inside here. Just navbar.tsx. And then I can run a snippet. And then so we can use our navbar inside this one. So let's do this one, and then we can do control dot, and as you can see, it's auto imported for me right here. Nice. So right now let's go back, make sure everything good. So you can see everything good to go. Great. So right now let's go inside our navbar. So our navbar, gonna have our now, and this one we're gonna have the h1. So this is where you're gonna choose put your name inside here. So if you go back inside this one, I'm gonna copy my name, and then I'm gonna replace it right here. So this one is gonna be a sticker or emoji from your computer, and if you do not have that, you can go into this website right here. I put the link in the description, so you can search for example, if you want to search for person, and you can just search for person, and then you can just scroll down. This is the one that I use, and just click on copy that. So and then you can just paste right here, so you can see. All right, so great. So right now we have this one. So on our navbar, as you can see, also we have the social link as well. So for that, let's create the objects for this one. Okay, so you can see right now I create the social variable right here. This is the array of the link. So inside the link, it's going to be an object that have the link, and we have the label of it, and also we can have the icon. And for this one, I'm choosing the same link, so because it's just for the demo. But if you work on a real application, you're probably using the social link that's the right for you. For example, the GitHub, you can update the link to the right one. Okay, so for the icon right here, I'm going to use the React icon. So let's go into the React icon, and then let's go to install this one first. So I'm going to copy this command right here, and then let's go out to our terminal, and then we're going to install this. And the icon that we're going to use is the simple icon. So let's go into the simple icon right here. So it has everything. So for example, if I'm gonna go with like say GitHubs and search, so you can see we have this one, and you can click on this one. It gives you the how to use this one as well. So right now let's copy this, and the installation is complete. I'm gonna close this one. Let's import it on top. So we're gonna replace this one with the icon right here. Okay, and then same things for LinkedIn. So you can just do SI, and if the IntelliSense is good, so it will give you this one. So you can see SI LinkedIn, and another one is gonna be X or Twitter. This is gonna be SI. It's gonna be X right here. Nice. So right now we have the social right here. So we're gonna use this one and then loop over it. So we're gonna have the social dot map, and then we're gonna have the social here as well. And then this one is going to return, and this is going to be as a link, right? So make sure we import this one. So this is going to be import from the next link, and the href of this one is going to be social dot link, and then we need to add the key for this one as well. So the key is going to be an index. So I'm going to use the index right here. So we're going to add the name. So the area label of this one is going to be the social dot label, and so right here you can just use the component, which is the icon. So right now I can do just an icon right here. It's gonna be equal to social dot icon, and then we're gonna do the icon right here. Okay, let's hit save this one. So if we go back inside here, so we should be able to see something like this. Okay, so right now let's go back inside here. Let's do some styling. So for our navbar, let's do the py of this one to 10. And if you can see, we have some space. And so for the h1 right here, I'm going to do the tag of this one. So let's do tag of this one to 2XL, and the font of this one is going to be bold. And so we're going to have the underline as well. And the underline offset of this one is going to be 8. And then for the color of the underline, it's going to be decoration. So for the decoration of this one, I'm going to do green 500 right here. And so right now, if you go back, so you should see something like this. And so for this one, I also do the rotation. So I'm going to do rotate of this one to 2 degrees. I think we need to do the minus, this one, minus rotate 2 degrees. So you can see it tilts to this way. Nice. So right now let's fix this one right here. So for this one, let's go into the now right here. We're gonna do flex and justify this one between, and then we're gonna do the item center. So right now it's push all the social link to this one. So, and for the social link of this one, we're gonna do flex, an item of this one to center, and the gap of this one, let's do the 5. So you can see right now it has a separation between these 3 right here. So for the length right here, let's give the icon of style this one a little bit. So let's do width of this one to 5 and height to 5 as well. So you can see right now it's a little bit bigger, and we can have the effect. So for example, when the user hover over this one, we're gonna scale up a little bit. So for that, let's do the hover, and this one is gonna be scaled to 125, and then we're gonna do the transitions to translate, but transition to all. Okay, and right now if we go here and if we hover on this one, so right now as you can see it has a really nice animation. All right, so right now our navigation is complete. So next we're going to build this hero section right here. All right, so for that, let's go back inside here. I'm going to create a new component, and this new component, I'm going to call this one the hero section. And let's do this one, run our snippets OFC, and then let's import this one inside our page below our now bar, and let's do one, and then control dot, and it will auto import for me. Really nice. So right now let's go back inside here. So here first, if you can see, there's 2 components that we need to create. So the first, this one right here that hold the text, and we have right here that shows the box right here. So for that, let's go in this, and I'm gonna make another div, and for this one let's do an h1, and let's copy the content that we have here. So I'm gonna copy this one and paste this one. So you can see this is just an emoji, and for this one I'm gonna do the BR for this one. It will break, so let's do the BR, and for this one it will have the separate style of this one. So because as you can see we have this underline, right? So for that I'm gonna put this one inside a span, and since we have the complaint from that, let's convert this one to a string instead. So you can see right now there's no complaint, and if we go back inside here, so we should be able to see something like this. Very nice. And now let's complete all of our text right here. I'm gonna copy this one, and I'm gonna paste this one right here, and make sure this one is a string as well, otherwise we have the complaint. And let's do this and make sure this is in one line. Great. And the lastly is going to be a link. So because this one will link to the email, so let's do this one as a next link, and the href of this one is going to be the mail to. Okay, and then you can put your email right here. So maybe I'm going to do, let's say someone at gmail.com. So, and for this one is the content is going to be the contact me, right? So I'm going to copy this one. So we're going to have I'm going to put inside this one, inside a div, and we're going to have the h1 is going to be contact me. And if we go back inside here, so we should be able to see something like this. And if I click on the contact me, so you can see this is going to be like, open in the apps, let's say like the open mail app right here. So now I'm going to click on cancel. Okay, great. So right now I'm going to create another div, which is going to be on another side, which is going to have like the box and everything that we have right here. So for this one, first we need to create this 4 box right here, and then for the label available for work right here will be another component. So for that, let's create this 4 box first. So let's go inside here. I'm going to create this, make another div of this one, and for this div right here I'm going to make the width of this one 72, and I'm going to set the height of this one to 72 as well. And inside here we're going to have the 4 box, but the box right here is going to be grouped with each other. So these 2 boxes grouped together, and then this 2 boxes grouped together as well. So for that, let's make another 2 div, and then inside this each of the div will have another div, and the first div right here will have the width of 32 and the height of this one to 32 as well. And let's do the rounded to 2xl, and the bg of this one is going to be green 500. Okay, so I'm going to copy another one for this, and we just change this one into indigo 500. And so we need to make this one side by side. So for this div, let's do just flex and the gap of this one to 3. And so we're gonna do translate of this one as well. So let's do translate the x of this one to 8, and it hit save. And so I just copy this one and paste for another, and this one we can just change the order of the color right here, and the translate right here should be -h instead. So okay, and I think for this one, so we're gonna have this one is gonna be rounded to full, and I think for this one it's gonna be rounded full as well. But hit save. So right now if we go back inside here, so if we refresh this one, so you can see we should be able to see something like this. So it's kind of similar to this one, but it's not quite. And so for that, let's try to fix this one. So for this is we're gonna do the space Y and to 3, and then I'm going to do rotate of this one to 30 degree as well. So let's do 30 degree, and then I'm gonna do the minus this one right here. So right now, as you can see, and right now it's look exactly the same as this one. Okay, that look good. And so for this one right here, we need to make this one into this side. So for that, let's do the flex on the parents component, which is going to be this parent component right here. And so for that, let's do the flex and to atom center, and then let's do justify of this one to between. Okay. And as you can see, right now we push this content right here. And if you look at this one, so for the content of this one, it has a little bit of high, and we have like a spacing between these two. And so for that, let's make it a little bit bigger. So for this one, I'm gonna do the min height of this one to, let's go with the 60 VH. And if you can see right now, we have some spacing and just like this one. Okay. All right, nice. So right now let's fix and updating the style of our text right here. So let's go back inside. For the H1 right here, I'm gonna give the tag of this one to 4XL. And then for the bigger text, let's say from the larger screen, I'm gonna give the LG and to tag this one to 7XL. And the font of this one is going to be bold. And for our paragraph right here, and from the mid up, so I'm gonna give the width of this one to 96, and then the tag of this one is gonna be LG, and then we're gonna do text gray of this one to 300 as well. And for the name right here, we need to do some underline, right? So for this one, I'm gonna do the underline and then underline offset. Let's do to 8 as well, and then we're gonna go with the decoration color. For this one, let's do the green 500. All right, great. So right now let's hit save. So we go back, so we should see something like this. Very nice. So right now we need to have the space between the text, so because it's kind of clamped to each other. So for that, let's go into this div right here, because this div it's hold our text together, and add some space. So let's do the space Y of this one to 10. And so as you can see right now, we have the space between this text right here. But look, notice that for our contact, it's not having a space between these two, because the contact right here, it's as a link. So the link is not a block. That's why it's not separate. So for that, let's go inside our link and change the style of this one. So we need to make this one to inline block. And as you can see right now, we have the space as well. Great. So right now, let's try to update the style of our link right here. All right, so for that, for this H1 right here, I'm going to give the tag of this one to 3XL, and the font of this one is going to be bold. And let's hit save. If we go back, really nice. And if you look at this one, so we have this underline right here under our link. So to do that, it's going to be really simple. So we're going to have make another 2 div, and we're going to make the width of this one to full. And so for the height of this one to 2, and BG of this one first is going to be green 500, and then we're going to have another one which is going to be the indigo 500. Okay, so right now if we go back inside here, we should look something like this. And let's do some style of this one. So first one is going to be the rounded to full, and also the same thing here. And as you can see, so but this one is going to be push first is push forward, up a little bit. So for that, let's do the translate of this one is going to be x to 2. I think we're gonna translate the border the under this one right here. So to translate x to 2, and if we go back, so as you can see, we push this one. And so right now, let's do some style. So when we hover on this one, so we should have the effects, the color of this one is going to go to the green. So for that, let's go into the hover, and then it's going to be text to green 500. Okay. And if we hover, so as you can see, I think maybe we can do 400. And then we need to do the transition to all as well. I think for this one, we need to do group, right? So when we hover on this one, we should have the effects as well. So for that, let's do, instead of the hover, we're going to do group hover, and we make this one as a group. And right now, if we when we hover, we can see everything here. And for the underline right here, I'm going to change the width of this one. So instead of the width full, I'm going to do width this one to 40, and at the same time for this one as well. Okay, so we hit save. So right now it's like this. Great. All right, so right now we make sure that this is responsive. Let's go in spec, and if we go into this one, so as you can see, we have to add some space between these two right here. So for adding space, so we can go into the page, and then from the SM up, we're gonna do P5. So you can see right now we have some space, and then we need to have the breakpoint for this one. And then also you can see we have some problem that when we go to the smaller screen, we have this one. And I think is it happen on production as well? Okay, this is happen on production as well. All right, let's try to fix it together. So I think for this case, it is happened due to the rotation. Maybe. So if you go into the BGY of this one, and as you can see right now, when we on the smaller screen, this is like over on this one. So that's why we have this one. So one way to fix this one, I think maybe we can go into our layout or go to our page. For this one, I think we can do overflow of this one to hidden. So that's why, so we left out is the white space here is on the right. So I think this is okay. As you can see right now, we do not have this problem right here. So then we can go back and remove our white space, background white right here. Okay, great. So right now we need to find the breakpoint of this one. I think for the breakpoint of this one, I'm gonna flick this one in when the screen is LG. So for that, let's go from the LG up. Let's do the flag of this one to row. Else we're gonna do the flag of this one to col. And I think I wanted to the box right here to be on top. So right now I'm going to add the flex col, and then we're gonna do the reverse. So right now if we go on the smaller screen, so as you can see right now it's reversed this one. Okay, really nice. So and for this one, and we have to add some space, and I'm gonna do from the LG up the gap of this one to 0, and then let's do the gap of this one. I'm gonna gap of this one to 10. So right now we have some space separation, space between these two. Okay, maybe a little bit more. So let's do the gap of this one to, let's say 14. And very nice. And for the text right here, we're gonna make this one into the center. So this one is going to be text to center, and then for the LG up, it's gonna be text of this one and to the left. Okay, and we hit save, so that's good to go. So right now let's go on the smaller screen. So you can see this is what it looked like on the smaller screen, and let's go on to the device. So for example, on the iPhone right here, and I think we need to add the P5 to this one as well. So maybe for this one, for the page, I think we can just add the P5 to everything. Okay. All right. So this is what it's look like on the mobile. Let's do the SE. This is what it look like. And yeah, I think this is look okay to me. Great. So right now, the only thing left for our hero section is to add the effects. So the first one is the effects in the box right here. So let's do that. All right, so to do that, I'm going to follow from this blog post right here. So this is how you can see this is a glow. effect. So I'm going to copy and paste this code right here. I'll leave the link in the description for this blog post right here as well. So right now, let's copy this one. Let's go back inside here. And then let's go into global.css. And then I'm going to create a new class. And for this one, it's going to call globe. And we can paste this one right here. I think I need to remove this one and remove this one as well. Nice. And for this one, there's 3 row. So, but I just only one only. So for that, I'm going to remove this one. And I'm going to change the value, this one to 200. And then for this one to 130. And then for the background here, we can remove. And I'm going to make this one to 0, 0. And for the color of this one, let's go to the Tailwind color. And I'm going to choose this color right here. So I'm going to click on this one and come back here. And then I can just paste this one. All right. So right now we have this color. Very nice. So let's go back inside our hero section. And inside our div right here, I'm going to create another div. And I'm going to call this class name, and this one is going to be called globe. Okay, let's save this one. And then if we go back, so we should be able to see something like this. But right now we have a problem that we have the corner right here. I think the reason that we have this one is due to our overflow hidden. So let's go to our page. I think maybe we can remove the overflow hidden right here. Okay, so right now I'm going to remove this one. So you can see we have this effect right here. But the overflow that we used earlier is used to for the unresponsive on our page. So as you can see right here. So I think for this one, maybe we can fix it later. I'm going to finish this glow first. So for that, let's go inside here. And we're going to make this one absolute. And this one need to be relative. And then let's do top of this one to 30, maybe 40%, not $40, 40%, and the right of this one into the 50%, so which is going to be 1/2 right here. So right now, if we go back, so you can see this is nice, and so we need to make this one to minus minus 10, so you can see the box is stay on top of this one, and just kind of like this one as well. All right, nice. All right, so to fix the unresponsive of this one, so we go to inspect, so you can see we still have this one. So for that, what we can do is to go back inside our page right here. I think the overflow should be put on top instead of the right here. So right now, if we go back, so you can see, and if we on a larger screen, this is still looking good. But on the smaller screen, so you can see this is okay. So right now, as you can see, if you go on different mobile, and this is the iPhone Pro, Pro Max, iPhone 14, and this is look okay. This is look okay to me. All right. So right now we finished the glow effect right here. Also we fixed the unresponsive as well. So next we can add the background grid of this one into our hero section right here. All right, so to do that, we can go into Aceternity UI. So you can see this is like a grid.background. So you can search for this one as well, the grid.background. So if you do not know the Aceternity UI, it's just like a built-in UI that they use with frame emotion and Tailwind CSS. And there's a lot of component that you can use. So right here, I leave the link in the description as well. So right now we're going to add the grid background. So you can see grid.background right here. And the installation is also really easy. So we can follow this documentation. So right now I'm going to copy this one and go back to our code, and then I'm going to paste this one. So this one is already installed, so the only dependency that we haven't, which is going to be frame emotion, and this one right here. So right now let's press enter and install this dependency, and let's go back. And for this one, it already exists when it comes with .cn, so we already have this one. So if we go into the util right here, so you can see we have the cn function right here. Okay, and so this is what we need to do inside our tailwind.config. So first we need to import this one. So first I'm going to copy this right here, and then let's go back inside our tailwind config. So our tailwind config right here, and then so I can just paste this one right here, and then let's come back here, and then so we can just first we create this function, the add color here, and we scroll it down into the plugin, and then I'm going to add inside here, and also we can add this function as well. So let's copy this, and then we paste it right here. And right now we have this error right here that we need to create this function, And so for that, let's create this function below right here. Okay. And then I'm going to paste this one right here. So right now the error should be gone. And if we go back in here, if I refresh this one, so make sure there's no error. Okay, there's still some error. Okay, right now you can see the error is gone. Nice. So right now to add the background, if you go into the documentation, and if you look at the source code on how to do it, so basically they just including the background right here. So I'm going to copy and paste this right here. I'm going to copy and paste this. And then let's go back inside our page. And then I'm going to add it right over here. Oh, I think maybe for this one. Yeah, this one right here. And then if we come back, so we should see this. But this is not looking good because if we add this one, it's only to the page right here. But we want to the entire page. So for that, let's create another div that's around this one. And then instead, we're going to add that background right here into this div right here. So right now, as you can see, this is look a lot better. And then we can change this one. So I'm going to change this one to 5. I think 0, 5. So as you can see, like we have this grid right here, kind of similar to this one. Okay. All right. So right now we're going to add this glow box right here. So for that, you can go to component, and this component is going to be moving border. And as you can see, this is what it looked like. So to do this one, so this installation, we've done it already. This is already exists. And this is already exists as well inside our code. So the only thing that we need to do is just copy and paste this moving border right here. So I'm going to copy this one. And let's go inside here, and for inside our component, I'm going to create a UI folder, and then it's going to be moving border, and we're going to do .tsx right here. And then I can just paste this one. And so right here we have the red line because the CN here is a little bit different from our CN. So we need to fix to something like this. Nice. And for the button name right here, I'm going to name this one to moving border. And so moving border btn. Okay, great. So right now we have this one, so we can use this one inside our hero section. So I am going to use this one inside here. So this is going to be the moving border button, and then I'm gonna import this one. And so this one need to have a children. So for the children of this one, so we're gonna have the paragraph for work. Okay, and if we go back right here, and if we look at this one, so right now we have something like this. Okay, that's not bad. So and so we need to fix styling a little bit. So let's go inside here, and first I'm going to remove the default from this code. We high up this one, so now it looks something like this. And then we go back in here. Let's give the border radius props. So 0.5 rem only. And the class name of this one, let's do the P3 of this one. Okay. So now it looks something like this. Really nice. And the font of this one to semi-bold. And let's hit save. So yeah, right now we need to add some logo icon right here. But I think for this one, I'm going to use emoji instead. So I'm going to come here, and then I'm going to copy this emoji right here. Okay. And then let's go back inside here, so I can just paste this one. And if we go back, so right now it looks something like this. Okay, that looks good to me. But the position of this one is not quite right, so it's okay, I think. But for if you look on the production right here, this is a little bit up. It's not below right here. As you can see, this is at the below, and we should move this one into this part right here. So for that, and this one, we need to make this one relative, and then we going to make this one absolute. So I think for this one, I'm going to wrap this one with another div, and then I'm going to do the app position to absolute, the bottom of this one to 5, but from the SM up, I'm going to do the bottom to 14. Okay. So bottom this one to 14, and we're gonna do left 0. And from the SM up, I'm gonna do the left is going to be 10. Okay, I think I'm gonna do the minus right here. Great. So right now, if you go back, so it would look something like this. And on the smaller screen, it should look something like this. Okay. Okay, so right now you can see for our hero section, we can see grid very clearly at the bottom. But if we look at the production, we cannot see it. We have some background gradient for this one to separate to the new page right here. So for that, let's fix this one. So let's go inside our page, and then I'm going to create another div right here. And for the class name of this one, so let's do the height of this one to 10, and from the XL up, so I'm gonna do height of this one to 32, and let's do BG of this one to gradient. So let's do gradient, and the gradient of this one to top, and then we're gonna do from black, and then I'm gonna do the absolute this one, and then the position of this one to minus bottom 5, and then the left of this one to 0, and from the XL up, so I'm gonna do the bottom of this one to 0, and let's do the width of this one to full, and since we add the absolute here, we need to add the relative to this one. So right now I'm gonna add the relative. Let's hit save. If we go back, so you can see we have similar effects right here. Okay, so right now let's go on the smaller screen. So hopefully this is okay as well. So you can see we still be able to hover on this one, and then when this is what it looks like on the smaller screen. All right, so this is good to go. Nice. All right, so right now our hero section is complete. So the next step we're going to do is to build the skill component right here. All right, so to do that, let's come back here. I'm going to create a new component called skills.tsx, and I'm going to run the snippet right here. So now we're going to import this one inside our page as well. So I think for the skill, we do not put around inside the grid background right here. So I'm going to put it outside here. So for this one, I'm going to create another div, and then I'm going to put the skill component. And for the width and the layout, it's the same thing to this one. So for that, I'm just going to copy this one, and to import this one, control dot. And right now it's auto import for me. Nice. So right now let's go back inside our skill. So if you look at right here, the skill here, we have this one, and this one, it's the same thing for this one. So I think for this one, we can create the reusable component, because this one, we use this, the same thing for here, and it's the same thing for our project right here as well. So for that, let's go back inside our code. Maybe we can create the component right here. I'm going to create this one, which is going to be the title.tsx, and then we can run this one. And for our title, let's go into the hero section, and this is what it's look like. So this one right here. Okay, so right now I'm going to copy this one, and let's go our title, and then we can just paste. So right here we need the title, which is going to be text. So what I'm going to do is let's do the text this one, and the type of this one is going to be string as well. So text is going to be string, and another one, we're going to have the class name, so then we can modify this one. So then this is going to be class name, and we're going to add the class name right here, and the type of this one is going to be a string. And for this one, it's going to be optional, so we can do something like this. So let's hit save this one, and make sure we're going to use the class name inside here. So let's do class name. Great. And then we're going to change this one to the text. Okay, so right now we can use this one inside our hero section first. So inside here, we can import the title, and then we can do control dot and enter. They will auto import for me. And the tag of this one is going to be the contact me right here. So I'm going to copy and paste this one again. Let's hit save this one. And right now, if we go back inside our localhost 3000, we should be able to see the same thing. Okay, and so right now for our skill, so we can just copy this one, and let's go inside our skill, and then I can paste, and then I can import this title, but instead of contact me, which is we're going to use the skill right here. Okay, so I can just paste this one, and right now if we go back, so we should be able to see this. And right here I'm going to give a class name to flex, and then let's do the flex call, and then do the item center, and then let's do justify center. So right now it would look something like this. Really nice. And for this one, I'm going to do the minus rotate, and let's do the rotate this one to 6 degrees. And yep, so All right, that look good. So I think we should have the spacing between these two a little bit. So for this one, let's go back inside our page, and then I'm gonna do the empty of this one to 20. And then if you go back, so you can see we have the spaces one. So right now we need to work on this one. So I'm gonna give extra space so then we can easily see this one. So for that, let's go into the screen right here. I'm gonna set this one to 400 VH. So later we can come back and update it to screen instead. But right here, as you can see right now, we easily see this one and then we can scroll. Okay, so right now we complete this title right here. So now let's work on this one right here. For the effect that you can see here, we can get this one from the Aceternity UI as well. If you go to component and you can go into the cat hover, I think this is going to be the hover right here. So as you can see, we can get this effect. So then we're going to install this one. So basically the same thing here already done. So basically we can just copy and paste everything that we have here. So I'm going to copy this one, go back inside our code, and I'm going to create a new UI right here. And this one is going to be cat hover effect.tsx. And then we can just paste this one right here. All right, so then we need to fix something a little bit, and this one. Okay, so right now we have this hover effect right here. This is the item that we need to pass. So I think something here we need to change it a little bit different. So if you look at our cat right here, we have only the icon and this text that we pass in, right? But for this one, they passing the title, description, and things like that, which I don't want to have. So I'm gonna remove this one. So maybe we can have like the text, and this one we're gonna have the icon, and the icon type of this one is gonna be the icon type right here. This is from React icon, so we're gonna use the icon right here. So right now let's hit save this one, and then I think we have some problem with this one right here. For the link right here, we do not have this one, so I'm gonna change the link to the div instead. And we remove the href right here, and the key for this one I'm gonna use the index instead. All right, and so we have another problem is with this cat right here. And so as of now, I'm gonna remove this one. Let's try to change this one to React, and this one let's change it to, let's say, hello. Okay. All right, so right now we fix this one. So right now let's try to use this one inside our skill. So inside our skill right here, I'm going to import the hover effects right here. So right here, we need to pass the item into this one. So if you look at the item, so first I need to make sure I import this one first. And so we need to pass the item, which is text and the icon. So we're gonna have the item, and the item right here is gonna have to be a skill. So right now, let's create a skill variable right here. So let's do con skills right here equal to an array. All right, so right here I went ahead and created a skill. So you can see it is an array of objects that have the text, and right here we have the React or Next.js or Tailwind. This is like the skill that you use, and also we have the icon. So you can see this is our icon right here. If we import this one from React icon and simple icon right here. Okay, so right now we pass it down into the hover effects. So that's all, we good to go. Now we go back in here, so you can see right here we have the error. I see. So right now we need to convert this component into the client component. So I'm going to do use client right here. And if we go back, so we should be able to see something like this. All right. So right now we need to update this one to look like this one. So let's come back here. And for the skill component right here, I'm gonna wrap this one with the max width to 5xl, x to auto, and I'm gonna do px of this one to 8 as well. So if we go back, we should be able to see something like this. Nice. And right now let's go into the hover effects, and let's change something here. So I think the first one is the rounded 3xl right here. I'm gonna round it this one to lg. And then if we go back, so you can see it look quite similar to our background right here. Okay, nice. So for the cat right here, I'm going to remove everything. So we're going to write this one on our own. And so for that, we can remove this two component at the bottom right here. So I'm gonna come back here and move everything. And for this one, let's give the rounded of this one to the width to full, and P4. Overflow of this one to hidden, and I'm gonna give the background of this one to black. And so when we group hover on this one, so I'm gonna do the ring to 2, and the ring of this one is going to be green 500, and we're gonna do relative, we're gonna do z index to 20, and so we're gonna add the transition to this one as well, and the duration is gonna be half a second. All right, so right here we can have another div. So let's do this div right here. And then for this div, we're gonna have another text. This is gonna be the item text that we have. So let's do the P right here. And then this one is gonna be the item text. Okay. All right. So let's hit save this one. I see. I made. All right. So right now, if we go back, so we should be able to see something like this. And we're going to change this one. Let's give it the cursor of this one to pointer. And right now it looks very nice. So right now we want to expand the width and height of this one a little bit, so to look like this one. So let's come back in here, and for the text right here, let's give the text of this one to 2XL, and font of this one is going to be bold, and text to center, and text grade to 300. Okay. And for the div right here, let's do the py of this one to 10, and let's do that to 50, and then we're gonna do a relative as well, and then we're gonna do the space y to 5. Later on, we're gonna add the icon inside here. So right now, if we go back, we should be able to see something like this. So right now, let's add the icon. So in order to get the icon, we need to get it from the item. So for that, I'm going to do return instead of direct return here. So we're gonna change this one to curly bracket instead, and go and update this one, save, and so we can access the icon. So the icon is gonna be equal to the items.icon right here. Okay, so right now if we go back down, and then we can import our icon. So this is gonna be icon, and then the name of this one, let's give the width of this one to, let's see. Okay, right now I see we have the problem. I see. So because I change here the icons, not the icon with S. Okay, so the width is gonna be 8, and the height of this one is gonna be 8 as well. And I'm gonna do the max to auto. So let's save. If we go back, so we should be able to see something like this. All right, so right now it's similar to this one. So as you can see. Okay, so let's take a look on the smaller screen. And is it responsive or not? Okay. All right, that's look really good. So if we go back in here, so I think for on a smaller screen, for example on the mobile, I want to see this 2 grid instead of 1 by 1. So if we go into the grid right here, so this is 1, maybe I can remove this one and hit save. So right now, as you can see, we have the 2 grid instead of 1 grid. So it's gonna be exactly the same as this one. Okay. All right, so we go back here. All right, that's look good. Make on a larger screen instead. Okay. All right, so right now I think we complete our skill section right here. So the next part is we're going to make the project section right here. All right, so to do that, we can come back here. So first you need to create your project image. So you can import your project image. So in this case, I've created this 2 image right here. And so basically what I do here is just to make a screenshot. So for example, on this page right here, I just do a screenshot on this one, and then I can get that image, okay? So this is what I do for my project. So right, so make sure you have your project right here. So once you have that, let's go inside this apps and go into our component, and we're going to create another component called project.tsx. And right here, I'm going to call create the OFC right here. So right now we have the project component. So for this one, first we need to create the project variable that we have everything. So this is gonna be the array of object. So right here I'm gonna paste what I have prepared before. All right, so here this is the project object. So you can see we have the title and the tech stack that we used to build this one, and the link to the project. So this is the demo. That's why I linked this one to my localhost 3000. And for the cover right here, this is like the image that I told you to add earlier. So I have two images right here. And for the background right here, I'm gonna do indigo 500. And for this background right here, I'm gonna do green. So if you have multiple projects, you can just create another object and add to this one. And then for the background color right here, you can just choose different color that you want to use. Okay, so right now we have this one. So we're going to use it inside here. So I'm going to give the class name of this one to py of this one to 10 and p5. And from the sum up, I'm going to do the p0. And then for the title of this one, so we can use the title component. So let's go into the skill, and then I can just copy and paste this one. So and then this one, we can need to change the text of this one to project instead. So for that, let's go inside here. I'm going to copy the title from this one and then change this one right here. Okay, so instead for this one, I'm gonna do the rotate 6. And then so if we look at this one, I see. So right now we need to import the project inside our page first. Let's go into our page, and not this one. Let's go into a page here, and then we're gonna put it below the skill right here. Let's do project. And make sure we import this one. And right now, if we hit back right here, so we should be able to see the project. Very nice. So inside this one, so we're gonna do the grid. So I'm gonna do the div right here. So this is gonna be a grid, and this is gonna be grid col 2. And from the sum up, and let's do this one. And then from the smaller screen, we're gonna do grid col to 1. Okay. And then for this one, I'm going to do the pt20. So we have some space from the title right here. And inside here, we're going to loop the project. So I'm going to do project.map. So we can have the project, and that this one is going to return a div right here. And then for this one, we're going to have the key, and we're going to use the index from this one. And let's hit save. I think for this one, instead of using a div, this is going to be a link, right? So because when the user click on this one, they're going to visit the project that you have built or link to the GitHub and things like that. So for this one, let's do the href, and this one is going to be projects.link. All right. Okay, so I need to fix this one right here. And inside this one, I'm going to wrap this one with another div. And for this one, I'm gonna give the class name. So this one, we're gonna use the color background. So I'm gonna import the CNs right here. And for this one, let's do the p5, and then we're gonna do the rounded to MD. Let's do the background color, which is gonna be the projects.background right here. Okay, so right here we're gonna use the image right here. So we're gonna place our image. So for the image right here, we're going to use the component from the Aceternity right here as well. So I think for this one is going to be the directional aware right here. So you can see when we hover on this one, we can see this content right here. All right. So right now let's try to copy this component. So same thing here, we already done. So basically we just copy and paste what we have here. So right now I'm going to copy this one. I think maybe we need to copy the name of this one first. Let's go inside here and component UI, and then we can just copy the text right here. Okay, that's great. So right now we need to fix something a little bit. This one, and then we remove this one. Okay, oops. We need to do this last. Okay, nice. So right now we have this one, so we can use this one inside here. So I'm going to import this one. And so for this one, they need the image. So for the image right here, first we need to import this one first. Do control that. And right now we need the image URL. So the image URL is going to be the projects.cover. Okay. And so right here, they need to have the child. So for example, right now I'm going to use the message. Let's say the project.title. Okay. Let's do the H1 right here. And this one is going to be the projects dot title right here. Okay, great. Right now let's go back and check out the result. So we see something like this. Okay, not sure why it's not working. And if you look at the project, and if you I see, because I name it a little bit different. So here I name it profile instead of project. So I'm going to change this one to the project one, and this one is going to be the project 2, not the profile. Okay, so right now if we go back, if we refresh this one, we should be able to see this image right here. Very nice. So right now we need to change the style of this image a little bit, and so for that, let's go into this component and let's give a class name of this one. So for this one, let's do the width to full, and I'm going to add the space wide to 5, and later on we're going to add another one below here. And then for this one, let's do the cursor of this one to pointer as well. So let's go back. Maybe I think we need to refresh this one. I see. So maybe we can need to update this value right here. And I think, as you can see, this is like the width that they give us. So I'm going to remove this width right here. And it's like right now, as you can see, it looks something like this. All right. So very nice. And so we need to add some space between these two. So let's go into the project, and I'm not sure. Let's see where the grid are. This is where we're going to update our grid right here. If we go to our project, the grid right here, let's do gap of this one to 5. And yeah, that looked great. So right now, next we need to add the project, the text project. So let's do the div right here. And this is going to be the projects.text.map. And then we're going to have the icon of this one. And let's give the index so we can use this one as a key. So we can return, and the return of this one, which is going to be the icon. Okay. And the key of this one is going to be the index right here. So right now, if we go back, we should see something like this. But for this one, we can do flex item center, a gap of this one to 5. And then we can add some styling, this one a little bit for the icon. So let's do the width of this one to 5 and height of this one to 5 as well. Okay. I think maybe we can make it a little bit larger. I'm going to go with 8 instead. Okay. So for the space between these two, okay, so we should have the space between these two, right? So for that, let's add another div right here and then wrap around here. And I'm going to add the space right here. So let's do space wide to 5. So right now, as you can see, so right now for the title right here, let's make it a little bit larger. I'm going to give it 2XL, and the font of this one, let's go into bold. Okay, very nice. All right, so yeah, I think that looked good. If we compare to this one, that's a little bit different. So you can see for this one, I adding the background black for the title and the text right here. But for this one, I did not add. But I think it looks fine. But the problem, it could be happen if you run into the background white. But I think maybe you can adjust to that. But I think for in our case right here, it's okay. So I'm gonna keep it as it is. So if you for this one, I'm gonna choose only 2 projects. So this one I have 4 projects, since this is a demo. So if you want to add more project, we can just adding to this one right here. Just for example, I'm gonna do another copy and paste right here. So as you can see, we have more project right here. We just need to change the value from this one. Okay. Now let's hit save and make sure I remove this one. I keep only 2. Nice. So right now our project component part right here is complete. So right now let's move on into the footer right here. All right, so for the footer right here, we can come back here and then we're going to create the footer component, and then we can do something like this. And this is going to be really simple. So for the div right here, let's do the border T, and then we're going to do T to 10. So right now let's import the footer inside this one. So right now let's do the footer component, and then let's do control dot. So if we go back, so we should be able to see the border right here. Okay, very nice. So right now let's change the style of this one. So I think for this one, we can use the now bar, inside our footer, like because it is the same component that I wanted to use. And let's do the navbar right here. Make sure we import this one, but there's gonna be this one right here, but I want it to be stacked on top of each other, so we need to customize the style of our navbar. So for that, we need to pass the prop to our navbar that will accept the class name of this one. So for this one, I'm going to adding the class name as a prop, and also the class name here, which is going to be string, but this is going to be the optional. Okay, so right now for our footer to use this one, so we can just use class name, and then we're going to do the flex call, and we can add the gap of this one to 5. So right now, as you can see, okay, I think I used the prop inside this one, but I haven't used it yet. So for this one, I'm going to use the CN right here, and then this one, and then I'm going to add the extra class name at the last one right here. Okay, right now, as you can see, right now this one is stacked on top of each other. Very nice. So to fix this one, and the final one is to go update the height this one into the screen instead. So right now it end up like this. All right, so right now we're going to work on the SEO. So you can see the title right here, still used with Create React Apps. So I think for this one, to speed things up, we can copy and paste what I've done before. So I leave the link in the description as well. So you can go into my repository right here, the Next Superbase vote, and I leave the link to this part right here. So this is the metadata for the SEO of the entire page. So I'm going to copy and paste this one. I'm going to change something a little bit. So let's just copy and paste from here. And then let's go back inside our code. And for this one, let's go inside the layout. And this is where we're going to use this one. So I'm going to remove this and paste it right here. Okay. So for the description right here, and let's go back inside our this one, and right now we're gonna change something a little bit. So as you can see, this is the description that we're going to use, and right here, and for the title right here, I'm gonna remove this. And so for the title, you can use your name. This is, in my case, I'm using my name, which is going to be Chen Sok Hing. And right here, yep, I think we're gonna change this one as well to Chen Sok Hing. And then so we need the OG image right here for this one. So when you share on Twitter or on Facebook, will show up to that. So for this one, you can use the same image. So basically you can just come here and then make the screenshot of your application. All right. So in my case, I'm going to use one of this one. So I'm just going to copy and paste this one, and I'm going to rename this one to the OG, and then it will be used inside my layout right here. Okay. And also the title right here, I'm going to use this, change this one to my name as well. So basically we just change this one that it is going to relate to our application. And yeah, so and then for the URL right here, so this one is going to link to your production URL. And so this one, you need to change this one to match your this project right here. So for example, if you deploy this one and whatever the URL that's come back, you can just update this URL. Okay, but as of now, inside here, this is the local host, so I'm going to use this one as the local host dot 3000. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same for this one. Just once again, you need to make sure to change this one to your production URL. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. And let's hit save. So you can see right now we changed the name of this one. Very nice. And for the logo and the fave icon right here, so as you can see right now, we have the, I think inside this one we have the fave icon right here with the next cell. So you can just change this one to your icon and just replace this one. So but I'm not gonna do it inside here. All right, so right now everything is good to go. So the next step that we're going to do, we're going to build this one, and then we're gonna run the lighthouse on this application. So for that, I'm going to close our dev server right here, and then I'm going to go here. I'm gonna do run npm run build. Now, as you can see, there's no error on this one, so we're going to run npm start. And then right now, let's go back inside the localhost 3000. So if we refresh this one, so this is the production right here. So, okay. So right now, let's try to run the Lighthouse on this one. So for that, I'm going to open the Chrome instead. And then we're going to go into the incognito and let's go to localhost 3000 and click on inspect. And let's go into the Lighthouse and choose the desktop and click on the analyze. And now as you can see, our score right here is 100. So make sure you need to fix if it's not 100. So for example, and then it will give you the example on how to fix and things like that. But right now our score is good. So I think we do not need to fix anything. So the last step that we need to do, just deploy this one. And yeah. Right, so one thing that I forgot to do is to do the animation on our hero section. So if you look at right here, if I refresh, so as you can see, we have the animation here. So to do that, let's go back inside this one and let's go into the Tailwind configs. And then we're going to export a new animation and this one right here. So inside the keyframe. So the first one is going to be the move up animation. So let's do this. And we have the comma right here. So for the move up right here, so we're gonna have the from. So we're gonna do from, and then we're gonna have another one is going to be to. And so for this one, we're gonna do transform, and then this one we're gonna do translate by. So we're gonna start from we moving up. So the first one is gonna be 10 pixel, and then 2 is going to be 0. Okay. So this one is going to be 20 pixel, and then we can have the opacity for this one as well. So the opacity is from 0 and to the opacity 1. Okay, do this one, and then we're going to add this keyframe into the animation. So we're going to call this one to move up, and the animation, this one is going to be move up 1 second, and I'm going to do this one with linear, and after that we're going to do forward. Okay, and I think we have to create another one. Is going to be animation move down, and let's copy this one, and this one is going to change to move down instead. So this one is from the -10 and then go back into 0, and it's the same things for this one. We can just here, and then this one is going to be to move down, and for this one is just change this one to move down. Great. So right now let's go inside our page right here. And I think we go to hero section. So this one, we're going to do the animation, and the animation here, animate, move up. All right. And then we can add another one to our navbar, which is here. So this one is going to be animate, move down. All right. So this one is going to be animate, move down. Great. So right now, if we go back and if we come here and try to refresh, so as you can see, right now we do not have any transform right here. So I think maybe we forgot to add something. If move up, I see. So right here, I misspelled this word right here. There should be transform, and same things for this one. It should be transform right here. Okay. So right now, if we go back, if we refresh this one, so right now, as you can see, we have this animation. All right, so I think that's pretty much it for this project right here, guys. So right now, let's make sure that everything is responsive and it's look good on the mobile. And let's go into the iPhone Pro Max, and it looks something like this. Okay, all good to go, and nice. All right, so I think there's some challenge, a little bit of challenge for you guys to continue from this project. You can try to do some toggle the light mode and the dark mode for this one. So because right now I focus only the dark mode only. And one thing that I want you to do is that for whenever they click on the available for work right here, they're going to download the your resume and PDF right here as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and try to do that. So I think that's it for this project. Hopefully you learned something and enjoy this project. I really like to build this as well. So don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.